head, slowing down and making no time. I gotta keep it rolling. Those windshield wipers snapping out the tempo, playing perfect rhythm with the song on the radio. I gotta keep it rolling.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Rideshare Rodeo Roundtable. We are simulcasting all. I'm looking at the top right now, all over the place. We're on just on YouTube alone. I know, we're just on YouTube alone. We're on Kim's, Cheyenne's, we're on Dana's, we're on this one, or my channel if you're on one of the others. We're on Twitch, we're on Twitter. I'm on Instagram right now, and also, as always, on Facebook. To the Instagram people, this is my new thing. I told Kim about this. This is what we're going to do. Because we don't see your comments come through integrated into StreamYard, and because it's impossible for me to have another device open and be looking at that, because I have my notes here. I just don't have enough devices, is what it is. But because of that, what I'm gonna do is suggest that watch the first 10 minutes. 10 minutes in, I'm just gonna kill that stream. I'm gonna end it. And if you want to continue, you can find it on Twitter. You can find it on YouTube. You can find it on Facebook. So I guess that's it. Like, I'm just trying to get your whistle wet. And if you feel like watching the rest of the conversation, come on over to the other platforms where we can see your comments. And complain to Instagram that you would like to see comments in live streams. Go to StreamYard so that we can start to integrate this and make a difference. So that said, let me introduce everybody. We got Kim's Side Money Plans that way. God, I even know my lights right there. So Dana, before I introduce you, I noticed that because I know that you were at DS Entertainment Network. Is it at Dana Scott or DJ Dana Scott now?
Just when I leave comments on videos, it shows up as DJ Dana Scott. The channel is still DS Entertainment Network.
Oh, it is? Okay.
But whenever I leave comments
it in the show notes.
Well, because my channel tag, like if someone was going to, like the youtube.com/
sure,
you could say DJ Dana Scott. I think it would still show up. But the channel name is still DS Entertainment Network.
Okay, I'll change it. So anybody... By the replay, it'll be fixed. And of course, we have Gig Work Mama right under Dana. And we're joined this week by Rudy, who actually, Rudy is the CEO founder of Freeride. It's spelled FURE.CAB.cab. And if you check that out, I've been talking to Rudy for a couple years now. I mean, we've become buddies. I was there when the earliest interview, I remember really getting some ideas out, and I was really chewing it. I was loving it. I've listened, it got delayed on the launch, and just like everything, red tape, all these nightmares. And now though, things look like he's going to be launching in April, which was always the idea. And it comes at a time when a lot of uncertainty in rideshare is going on. So actually, maybe it was better that it took this long. Maybe it was one of those things that was just meant to be.
Hope so.
I mean, I know you're thinking dude, screw that. The last 2 years have been red tape and tough, and this is hard. But maybe it will launch better is my point.
Yeah, building a startup's not easy. It's not for everybody. And especially building one where you have, Uber worth $1 trillion, you have Lyft, not even half of that now. Then you have these other incumbents that are coming on board, that especially in the whole thing that went on Minnesota and Minneapolis. That's just one ginormous cluster.
And we're going to get to some of that tonight too. I mean, we're definitely going to get into that because as I put in here, we'll obviously talk on some of the things he's got going on. Because is it, first of all, let's clear up one thing. Is it in Philadelphia? Or is it did I notice it's a different name, like where Josh lives, King of Prussia? Is it one of the suburbs, or is it?
No, yeah. So the one that we're doing on April 20th is going to be a show and tell, the public and the press, mostly for the press, because that's who's showing up.
Okay.
But it's also for the public as well, just to say, hey, this is what we're doing. This is how it works.
I mean, are
This
you
is
going to
what the
have a
app
car
looks like.
there going?
No, the reason why is just more of an FAQ for the press, because the press wants, because I've been getting hounded a lot by the press of, we want to talk to you, so have some event or forum or whatever. And I had discussions of like doing some Twitter live, whatever, and they're like, no, we want to see video. We want to see the app in action. So that's what's going to happen on April 20th.
So I don't know if I know you're on Twitter. I don't know if you have a YouTube channel that, like, I mean, I'm sure you do, but like
Ramping it up.
one that you've tried growing it all, but you should probably, if you're able, get that to a point where you can live stream this, I would think.
Yeah, well, there's 10. The team right now is at 10, and we're chipping away at this, and it's not easy doing this. There's a lot of moving parts to this. There's a lot of people to talk to. You're every day in meetings. Like today, I got hounded by the press again. I got hounded by the press yesterday. Yeah, like just talk to us for 10 minutes. I'm like, I could, but I got meet government officials. I got to meet city officials. I got to meet insurance companies. I got to meet with this and that. So it takes time. Like later, now I got to meet with the state later and talk about licensing and get a lot of other things squared away for other states as well. So it's not
So
easy.
what states are you launching in, or what areas are you launching in?
All right, so Easton is going to be first for pretty much the next couple of months, and then when June, July rolls, we're going to hit Philly first. Do the same thing that we did in Easton, do a Q&A, and then just roll with it for the next couple of months. After that,
Easton is.
Yeah, so after that, we're going to hit Miami, Chicago, LA, Austin, Texas. And then after that, then we're looking at 4 to 5 cities pretty much on a quarterly basis. By the end of 25, we'll have close to about 1,200, 500 cities online. And then by Christmas of 25, we'll have 2,500 cities throughout the entire world.
So why don't we, so I know a lot of people, I'm sitting here thinking like a lot of people have probably seen the 3 times I've spoken with Rudy, but now I'm thinking like there's probably some people going, what Tarantino movie is this? Because I have no idea what you guys are talking about. So why don't we use a quick elevator pitch here as to what Free Cab is?
It's pretty much, it's an Uber pretty much, and you watch a couple of ads on your phone, answer a couple of questions about the ads. We take that data, aggregate it, use AI, and then present it to the advertising industry saying, hey, these groups of individuals like these ads. We can develop more ads like this, sell that data to the advertisers so they can actually make better ads, better products, better services for us. Because we're at a point now in the advertising industry is that getting data on who we are and why we buy things and how we get those things and how we use those things is really getting tough for the advertising industry. So what I've done is literally take the Facebook model, turned it around, and have the advertisers pay for the services that we need so they can get the data from us, as opposed to bombarding us with, I'm not going to say dumb ads, but ads that are really ineffective because 99% of the time we're sitting there on social swiping it away. We're not even bother looking at it. That's waste. So how about I give you a free ride, watch a couple of ads, give me that data, and let's take you home. Let's take you to the gym, to the bar, to whatever.
So the ride itself is free?
Pretty much, yeah.
So, but Kim, check this out. Unless he's changed it, but I don't think he has, but if you take one from your house to the airport and it's going to be like a half hour and you have to do a certain amount of ads and at some point you decide, man, I got to catch up on some text before my plane. Halfway through, you decide like, I got to do some work. I can't watch the rest. You can just be charged money for half the ride and get half for free based on the ads. So you can also kill it on a long ride halfway through, pay partial.
Yep. You're not bombarded throughout the whole entire ride with ads. So there's 2 options on the app. On The first option is the free part where you're going to be watching X amount of ads for 10 minutes. So let's say we do a 10-minute ride. It's 5 minutes worth of ads, usually about 10 ads, let's say 30 seconds a piece. You're watching those ads. Answer a couple of questions about the ads. Did I like it, not like it? Was it funny, not funny? Did it make you cry? Did you get informed? Did you not get informed? Stuff that advertisers really want to know, because that's what they really want to know. Did you like the ad? I hearken this back to when, you look at a newspaper article or you look to a newspaper ad, did we like it? And the only way that advertiser knows if that ad was effective was at the cash register. That's it. No other way to gauge how that ad performed back then. Now, using technology and AI, coupons, stuff like that. But now we develop technology that can actually say, hey, so-and-so actually likes this ad. Let's group that with 10 other people. Let's show them a bunch of ads. And let's see if he likes it. Oh, they like it. Let's show it to a national setting now. Let's do it to the Super Bowl. That's the problem that a lot of advertisers have now. They don't have Super Bowl ads. Here's a platform that can become that Super Bowl ad.
See, I even was telling him, Kim, Dana, anybody, Cheyenne, tell me what you guys think of this. Because I said, man, you gotta, like, with these ads, you gotta get it. Like, let's say if there's an Adidas ad, okay? While you're doing the ride, if you want these shoes, they're 20% off. After the ride, for 24 hours, they're 10% off. Kind of thing, like, hey man, you want it for cheaper right now? Like,
we'll send. Yeah, I'm not going to tell you the advertisers, but we have a couple of deals with them where when you come on to the ride, like for instance, I said this last time with Target. Target, you order a ride, you go into Target. Target's going to actually pay for your ride and blast you with everything that they're selling, but also be informative of what they're selling as well. So Target will actually own that ride and actually bring you home. The other deal is that you order stuff from Target, we're bringing it to your house for free. You don't have to pay nothing. You don't have to worry about Uber. You don't have to worry about any other shit. It's free now. So deals like that make sense for advertisers. And then it really makes sense for the consumer as well, because now I don't have to worry about taking that $40 ride to get diapers. Now I got an extra $40 because I got a free ride. Now I got $40 worth more of diapers to put in my pocket.
It's like a cross promotion of companies, consumers, and making things free for people. I'm trying to relate it to something of the past, like things like the only thing I'm coming up with is, I don't want to compare it to, but it's the only thing I can think of off the top of my head is like a timeshare. You get those damn things, and like that's why I don't want to, because I don't want to say like buying a timeshare, but there's ways around paying. Yep. And so I don't know. To me, I've always loved the idea. I see Gary here, and he's asking because Gary and I want to be there when the first rides are. So he's saying, so April 20th, I can't take a trip. He's getting loud.
No, we're gonna be in a lot. I'm gonna be traveling a lot. I'm gonna be going to a lot of these cities. I'm gonna be opening up a lot of these cities. I'm gonna be meeting with a lot of community leaders out there. A lot of these poor neighborhoods aren't getting transit in those neighborhoods. I go to Chicago and you go into the hood and where's the bus? The bus station's there, the bus stop is there, but the bus never stopped in the last 30 years. Why? I don't have money. What? What? So these poor kids can't get to work, can't go to downtown, can't get a job. That's a problem. And it's not only Chicago, it's a lot of cities across the United States and across the world as well.
We know that in Chicago during the pandemic, they were allowing Lyft to transport kids, which that was even before they were saying before they broke that rule and said, no, you can take minors now. They still couldn't. And they were saying, oh, our bus system's all screwed up. You can just do it.
I mean, that was great for doing that. But at the end of the day, you still have the safety issue, would you allow your kid
that's what amazed me. I'm like, what the heck? Because you're not checking any of these people. But I mean, at the same time, I was only giggling there when he was telling that story because I know how he invented it with his brother. So I was just getting a quick little laugh because I know that him and his brother, the initial idea came from being at a bar in Philly, spending their
No,
money drinking.
yeah, is it a bar? It was a bar in it's called Ironbound in Jersey. It's all Brazilian Portuguese. Went there, had a couple of drinks, got lit, and then that question popped up of, how do I get a free Uber ride home? And then realizing, hey, I can get ad dollars to pay for rides because the advertising world doesn't have enough data on us. So I looked at the Facebook model and said, well, if I could take the Facebook model and actually get advertisers to pay for the ride and give them that data that they want about who we buy from, how we buy it, where we get it, and all that, then it becomes a win-win. So when we did the first beta for 5,000 rides, me and my brother just told people, show them how it worked, and sign up. I want to sign up. I like this. I want to sign up. And then we realized, all right, let's put a real app together and let's do the due diligence and get this squared away. But then you get caught up in a lot of things because there's a lot of legalities. Because one, you're dealing with 50 states. Two, you're dealing with rules and regulations that are completely different. So you got to set up the app in a certain way. Like, well, all right, if this guy lives here and he wants to drive here, these are the rules and regulations for this route. If the guy, and every app that, every developer that I've spoken with that want to get onto what we were doing, same thing. Even when we talk to the Uber guys that are coming on board, same thing. There's certain things you have to do in order to make this work. And if you don't, it's going to crumble.
So before we move on, can you see this on the screen? Did you have a few of these?
Maybe. Yeah, that's kind of fun. Caipirinha is a Brazilian drink in Brazil. It's famous. I once had 4 of those, and I don't remember getting home.
Well, even Oscar lives in Chicago, but she's or northeast Chicago, but she's from Brazil. So,
is she?
Yeah, that's what she said. But okay, so luckily we have Dana here this week because we are gonna look, guys. We'll try and keep it a little soft and conversational about what we think, but we gotta start talking about some of this stuff because it's starting to backlog now. And I know Dana. Again, you know what? We haven't had him on since he did it. So if everybody in the chat could give a congratulations to Dana, he did. Remember, he was running for school board. We promoted him, and he was like, "I might not win. I don't know." He won. He won. He got every vote. He won unanimously. He smoked the other person.
That's awesome.
That's
he's
so
all
cool,
worried.
man.
He's like, every vote comes his way.
How many did you get over by?
How many votes?
Yeah, it was a total count.
Oh, it was the school committee actually did the vote because it was an appointment for a vacancy. So there was the school committee vote. So there's 5 board members and they all voted for me.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah. So the term. So I'm filling in the rest of the term. It expires in 2020 at the end of 2025.
Yep.
Nice.
Oh, so you got a lot of work ahead of you then.
Yeah, 2 years. Yep.
Congrats.
But see, I'm glad because I got to say, like we talked about this. My son's graduating high school. I'm so glad that like if he wasn't graduating high school right now and I lived in Dana's area, I'd be really glad knowing Dana like I do that he's part of trying to. If I don't know what your powers can be, but at least trying to present the reality side of some things and going, guys, enough.
Yeah.
Like
I don't
really just
know.
trying to be the voice of reason.
Yeah.
I mean, implementing effective policies. Well, right now there's a bunch of stuff we're dealing with, but aside from policy, just teacher contracts and stuff like that too. But there's a lot of stuff involved in it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
Nice.
And so with his knowledge of that, he also has knowledge of what's going on for gig workers in the Boston market. And in fact, he had been sending me some stuff and it's kind of confusing because if I'm collecting it right, I started looking into what he's talking about. And there is is it like 3 or 4 different things going on, right?
So, I mean, general rundown, we just like the U.S. government in our state, Massachusetts, we have 2 houses of legislature, House of Reps and a Senate, state Senate.
Yep.
And in January, early February, our House of Reps started debating and working on a bill that would make gig app employees. They would make them W-2 employees. That was like what they were trying to work on. Then this competing legislation, because there was a lot of pushback, especially from the companies and some apparently people with money. Simultaneously, our state senate was working on a bill that basically cemented gig app workers being independent contractors, and the Senate actually got their bill pushed through. So the House of Reps decided to table the bill they were working on and start working on the bill that the Senate passed. So for the past few weeks, there's been like hearings and stuff like that, and they're basically just, it looks like the wind is blowing in the direction of, as far as gig app employees, Rideshare, DoorDash, Grubhub, all that stuff, going to remain independent contractors, but they are going to put some requirements. Effectively, what they're doing is they're making a Prop 22 like bill in our state now.
Like without much variation at all, same type of crap.
It's
because
almost...
again, Prop 22 people all have. It's really important. We don't need to go into details. We've talked about it enough. But Prop 22, AB5 and Prop 22 were all rolled out 2 months. I mean, AB5 before, but even Prop 22 2 months before the pandemic even started. So why I asked Dana that is because if they could have rolled back time on Prop 22, they would have not let food be included in that.
Yeah, well, food, and actually in this one, food is like the centerpiece. Did you read any of that bill I sent you?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Food is a major component of this one. But
yeah, but that's part of the problem. I mean, nobody tips anymore in California. Everybody makes 120% of active time, so it's worth taking every dollar order.
Why wouldn't you?
Right. I mean, the biggest problem that they have is people doing them too slowly, and they'll deactivate you for that if they think you're just milking time.
Milking, yeah.
Well, I mean, like you can take a dollar order.
They do that anyway, though, with earn by time. They do that anyway. So I hate to say, what's the difference?
Well, I guess this is worse than earn by time, because this is literally, you're going to make 120% of minimum wage in that area. So for San Francisco, that's $19.88. You're going to make $24 an hour working for DoorDash, and they cannot use your tips in that amount, just the base pay. So you're going to get any tips you get outside of it too. So it's like earned by time at 120% of minimum wage and guaranteed, and you get all the tips all the
Crazy.
time. Not just when it's earned by time available too. So, I mean, I guess my point is for a state, I've seen other states and what they're looking at. For a state to say that is the good idea, that's crazy. I know Biden's all down with that, and I'm not going to get political, but I know he wanted to see Prop 22. He kind of promised AB5 to the country. He said, we're going to do this everywhere.
Companies won't survive.
No.
Well,
and a lot of...
That's not his concern. He doesn't.
Oh, I know it's not the concern of his, but I'm just saying reality.
He wants us all to have W-2s and be in a union. And the problem is that we did learn things from California. They killing AB5 created zero jobs. I mean, there's maybe like a handful of here and there's, but nobody that had their livelihood, their business ended. Nobody was able to go out and get a job, but for the most part, it didn't matter. Nobody wanted to, because they spent years doing that job to get that good to be able to do it on their own. They found a niche. They built a business. That's what America's about, right? You don't have to. I mean, we can be across the aisle from each other on this one. I mean, everybody should agree this is what America is.
Yeah.
Land of dreams. You should be able to start a business. Like, I mean, enough. Like, I don't know. And again, I don't know why after all the failures of California, because still to this day, AB5 by most people, even people who didn't used to think so, is disregarded as crap. So, I mean, like, why would Massachusetts want to do it?
Yeah, well, I think the overall sentiment with the government now has been watching how it went with the Prop 22 after AB5. So they're really not. They haven't really. I think originally they were trying to frame it around the AB5 bill, but they kind of veered towards the Prop 22 type method. And
so almost doing what we've said they should do, that you need to define the space first, but they still didn't define it, but they did. They're like, okay,
well,
we're
the
just
state
going to put
the state
this
is clearly
thing on
trying to
gig workers.
Yeah, our state is clearly trying to define it, and clearly trying to keep everyone appeased, so to speak, with being an independent contractor as far as the gig economy goes. And I think it's because they got a lot more pushback than they originally thought, honestly. So, because I think when they first started talking about it, like 2 or 3 years ago, they first started talking about this, and there wasn't much other than from the companies themselves.
Wasn't that when your governor was AG?
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And so this woman's another crazy one, by the way, guys, if you really want it. Maybe Dana's going to say, no, she's really nice. I know her. But I know he's not.
I know what her views are on how the gig economy should be managed by the state.
I mean, she wants it crack and whip.
Yeah.
She wants them all.
So that's the other question, because, and I spoke to some people that may or may not be in my state government recently, and unofficially I can say that this bill that they're debating now is probably going to end up going through. Who knows if she's going to sign it or veto it, just based on her track record in dealing with it. So,
but even just me knowing what I know about her, I'm going to say she's going to sign it. Of course she is.
Dan, I want to ask you this. How many drivers are out there up in arms about this?
Quite a few, more than there used to be.
Well, let me add to that. How many drivers are aware of this?
More than there used to be. More than there used to be, just because it's been a lot. Yeah. I mean, if you asked me like 3 years ago when this first started becoming an issue, I would have said like 10% of the drivers were even aware of what's going on. Mm-hmm. I'd say it's probably closer to like 65% of the drivers are paying attention now to what's going on.
Right. So then what about then what's the visual on this of those drivers actually seeing this? Like, is it in the media? Is it in the press consistently or no?
Yeah. And
plus,
the media
she is a hardcore. That's why I'm surprised he doesn't think so, because she's a hardcore wanting this.
She does not want the prop. No, what I'm saying is she doesn't want the bill that they're about to pass. She wants that original. Right. She wants that original bill.
One, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I was telling you about. That's the one that she wants. That's why I said this.
Oh,
this
so
other one
I see why you're
on?
saying, will she get on board with this? I still think she might, though. But yeah, I get what you're saying. She's even worse than this.
Yeah, I can see her vetoing this one that they're about to pass, which would be preferable, obviously, over to the other bill.
Would she do
that
would she do that if the other option was it just stays like it is, though?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like could end up being what happens, unless she passes some sort of executive order for the state. But I don't know. I'm not quite sure what her limitations on power for that would be.
Well, these days, from what I can tell, I mean, Julie Sue she's not even supposed to be in the meetings, and she's passing some of the biggest labor laws that we've ever seen in any of our existences, because the past 100 years, we've never seen labor laws changed by like they are now under Julie Sue, who doesn't even have the right to change them. So I'm guessing in politics these days, you just say, I know this isn't my job, but I'm going to do it anyway. Tough shit. Because it seems like people are just getting away with murder with things that aren't even their job.
Yeah, pretty much.
And it's like, question me, and nobody is. So let me say hi to chat before we go any farther. I see that in the very beginning, Tristan was in here. So what's up, Tristan? We've been chatting on Twitter. Hopefully, maybe you're watching over there. I don't know. What's up, George? I think you're over in Kim's. Although I wish it would say which one people were in. What's up, Todd? What's up, Chris Taylor? What's up, Thomas? What's up, Kevin Hawthorne? Hi, Sheila. Thank you, Sheila, for sitting in with the para live tonight, which was was a little crazy. But worth watching. Hi, Ivanaska. How are you? What's up, Bubba Sue? Derek, Mr. DSN. What's up, Traveler? How are you? What's up, Gary? Kidding. What's up, Gigan? What is up, David Roth over on Facebook? Hey, man, how are you? Let's see. What's up, Rick? How you doing? And Bud Soda, what's happening? And this is why I don't like falling too far behind. Congrats to Dana.
I did start starting comments for you, just FYI.
Hey, Paul, how are you? I guess he's in South New Jersey. Is that SNJ? Is that what that means?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll go with that. What's up, Chris Taylor? I think I said hi to you. Oops.
Yeah.
What's up, Ryan Hillard? What's up? And I think we have a couple things to maybe bring up from there. Okay, I think I got to everybody. I didn't. I'm sorry, but so I think Chris Taylor's told us this before. He sent us articles. I know he sent them to you too, Kim. They've been pulling out of there for a while. I mean, I think that they're already gone. I'd have to look it up, but I think that shipped is already done in Seattle. Well, yeah, I mean, maybe not Washington State. Maybe that's what you're talking about as a whole. But since Seattle's like 80-90% of all the volume they do, I know they left there when that city ordinance went into effect. So they've been done there for a while. But again, we also, if we have time tonight, we have that on the list because every news media source is putting out the same article, even though they were conflicting for a while. Seattle wants those gone. They're done. Even the people who pushed for that legislation want it gone. It's wrecked. It's not working. Bottom line, independent, period. You guys, this is my perfect segue chance to say, please, 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 please help Mike Karubi and I get these videos in. If you didn't notice, I dropped a video on Monday with Mike. It's only 10 minutes long, and I was trying to showcase those of you who have done videos like Kim, Dana, Cheyenne. I asked to do one, but she's in Canada, so it's a little different. But I thought maybe she could give a take. Like, I know you've watched some of the ones we've done, so like watch them and give a take on like, geez, if this happened to me, like something along those lines, because
I could put a Canadian spin.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
I just really don't know. Like, are they gonna be like, oh, okay, well, whatever. Like, I don't want to like.
Well, that's why I was just telling everybody, make sure you watch the 10-minute video I dropped with Mike on Monday. It's kind of a thank you, but to the people who have already done it, but it's also we exactly walked through what these videos, what happens the second you upload them.
You can be like, hey, leave my US peeps alone. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, it really doesn't matter what you say, you guys. And if you're like 30 to 60
I want to
seconds
put on it, because I want it to mean something, right? But
I mean,
I'm not there.
You could even do something like, geez, I can't believe that, like, we're at a point you have to say that or you guys are at a point where you have to say that you need flexibility and you need, like, I mean, isn't that...
I'm baffled.
Yeah, I mean, it really is like that's, and it's not just gig apps. It's 71 million workers. It's 40% of the American workforce.
It's ridiculous.
And they've already started doing it, like in Kim's state and in Massachusetts and Dana's state. Like you can't be a, I'm sure Dana might add to this list, and I've seen more for New Jersey too, but you can't be a school tutor, freelance or self-employed. You have to be a W-2 school tutor. That's not a thing.
There's a ripple effect too in a lot of this legislation, which has led to some support from parties that you wouldn't expect, particularly in our state, like in Boston. There's been like a coalition of like some of the restaurants and businesses in the city that have been pushing the state legislators to not make like rideshare drivers in particular W-2 employees, because they're saying they would be a ripple effect if they lost their status, because Lyft and Uber did the typical thing where they would threaten to pull out of the city and the state, and they're afraid that their employees wouldn't have a way to get to work, because a lot of them count on the rideshares to get in and out of the city. They don't have cars, Boston's transportation system is like one of the worst in the country. You know, our restaurants close at like 2 a.m. or bars close at 2 a.m. These employees have to be able to get home. Our public transportation shuts down at midnight. So a lot of the businesses have been like warning against the ripple effect if some of this legislation would have to go through, not just on the gig app workers, but on workers in general in other areas of business.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the downstream. You got to look at the downstream from this, not only from the bottom of the, you know, the line worker at the restaurant. Look at upstream, you know, even from the person at the hotel. They're like, all right, I need to get food. Ooh, can I get it? I can't because, you know, this guy can't be at work because he doesn't have a ride. Yeah, it's mind blowing because when you start looking at this potential legislation going, you know, nationwide, then you have to sit there and scratch your head going, oh, you're going to destroy jobs literally in, I would say, close to about 90% of every market in the United States because, you know, now you want to consider everybody being a W-2 and supposed to being independent, which is mind blowing.
Yeah, I don't understand it.
It really goes back to the fact that they really screwed up by never defining it. Even before the first company, Uber, or was it Lyft? It was Uber, right? Went public?
Uber.
Okay, so even before that, and what was it, 2018, 2019? Even before that happened, that's 10 years of Uber beforehand. They could have defined that space before anybody went public. They didn't need somebody to go public to define it. In fact, it would have been better if nobody had gone public and you defined it. This is a hybrid model of the gig economy. These workers work on app-based and set some definitions so that when companies did go public and stuff, there was something in place because now they're just, I always said it was like the early days of the internet. It's like the wild, wild west. Well, they never defined it, so it still is.
Yeah.
Well,
and
yeah,
it allows a lot of corrupt money. It allows a lot of bribery. It almost invites it.
Well, I don't know how if you guys remember, but when the internet first started, you know, Congress actually had a hard time with sales tax. A lot of states had a hard time with, like, when the internet first started and I bought something, we didn't have sales tax back then when the internet started. Now you have to have it. And now for a lot of these states to go, oh, you know, everybody that works in the state has to be a W-2. Then you have to sit there and go, well, you know, I don't want to be a W-2. I don't want to pay, you know, insurance. I want to get my own insurance. I want to work on my own hours. That's mind blowing for small businesses.
Yeah.
Just real quick, they had a question for Cheyenne.
Yeah, exactly. I saw that question from Ryan. So over here, it's not regulated as in, how would I explain it? So it is regulated now because we have to give the companies that we're working with our either a social insurance number or our business number so that they can tell the CRA, so the Canadian Revenue Agency. However, there's still people that can go around that. But other than that, there's no regulation like how you guys are putting in place, you know, you have to be a W-2 and all that kind of stuff. No, there's none of that. Like we can still have tutors, we can still, you know, be drivers, we can still, you know, like to me, I'm just completely baffled that this is even a conversation that's going on and there are decisions being made on this because I don't know how, like, for example, for me personally, and Steve, we spoke about this when we did the podcast. I need that flexibility. Like, I went out to work.
Most of us do. That's what these videos have been showing people.
Exactly. I went out once since this new year because it's been insane here. Like, we've been so busy. Now, if you're telling me that I can no longer have that flexibility to go out whenever I need to or can, where does that leave all the mothers? Where does that leave all of the fathers that, you know, they're taking care of their children? Where does that leave the person that's taking care of their sick parent, but now they have like a 3-hour window and they want to be able to go out and make some money? Like, I don't know. It's, yeah. So if that comes here, like, it would be insane. It would.
But what I was going to add to what Cheyenne was saying, for those that have missed previous episodes, we've talked about this. So basically, we even joked around a little bit about it because up until now, these companies haven't needed your what would be a US EIN number or a social.
No.
And it's just kind of been like, we even like, none of us were comprehending the tax thing because she's like, well, I mean, you just pay it or you don't. Like, it was just like, what? What the hell I choose not. Don't. Like,
you just had to declare, like, it kind of went on like an honor system. As I mentioned, like, since the companies weren't telling the CRA how much we were making, it was up to you. And the companies,
right, to be honest. And so I'm thinking,
you're an
nobody was
independent
doing
contractor.
it.
You're the one responsible to pay your taxes. But nobody,
who would ever do that? Who would ever file their taxes?
I did that. That's just me. I'm like that A-type. Well, I'm like former accountant here, so.
But she also did say they do have people who do audits, just not like to the level we do. And I was thinking, well, okay, so if they come and do an audit on you and you were a full-time gig employee and you're just like, I just spare changed it all year, like,
then can you go to jail for taxes?
Okay, so here's the thing. They say that you can, but I honestly do not know or have heard of anybody that has gone to jail for not paying their taxes. But they say that you can. Like, they say that they'll send a bailiff to you.
But I know your population for area isn't anywhere near how we populate the US, but I got to say, like, I don't think you guys have a lot of people. I think you have to like kill multiple people to go to jail in Canada.
Well, yeah, it's
I mean, like, you really have to commit a lot of crimes for them to go, we're going to pay for this.
It's actually funny because they're very, how would I say it? You would think that, but then, so there's this thing going on right now in Ontario and Toronto where people are getting their cars stolen left, right, and center. Like, it's insane. The percentage, I think it said it went up by 400% within like a month. It's crazy. Now, the reason for that is because I know in certain states, let's say someone breaks into your house, you can defend yourself. Well, over here, you can get in trouble for defending yourself, even if they break into your home. So it's to the point where, and you're seeing all these videos now where they're comparing Florida to Canada, because the police chief here is telling people to leave your key fobs at the front door because people are breaking into people's homes to get their key fobs. So they're like, instead of hiding it or whatever, because then you're going to get hurt, leave it at the front door. So if they break in, they could take it and they could take your vehicle. Like, it's to that point.
Here's free range to my car. Like, that makes no sense.
It's insane. But that's because we would actually get in trouble as a homeowner and get arrested if, let's say, because we're on YouTube, for breaking into my home. So it's like,
so basically, don't kill me, just take my car type of thing.
Pretty much. Like, it's really bad. Like, it's a running gag. All you need to look into is like car theft in Canada, and Montreal was already pretty bad, but it's worse.
But as you put it too, it's much harder to get a gun. So it's going to be much harder to get me out of my car. Get out. It's
harder to get a gun legally.
You don't have a gun, dude. I'm not getting out.
There's a lot of
they probably just crossed the border.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah. So it's pretty crazy.
I think Canada cares about their border. I'm just saying.
It's insane.
It's not like the other border that I'm thinking of.
So even no, it's not that they rather you get killed. It's that they're saying the people coming in, they're not there to actually hurt you. They just want your vehicle. Because it's a big thing. Like Montreal, that's been a big thing, stealing vehicles. But in Toronto, now it's even worse. So they just want your vehicle. They don't want to actually hurt you. That's why they're telling people to leave the key fob at the front door, because then they're going to break in, take it, and go. Pardon?
Doesn't crime escalate? Like, most crimes escalate. Like, it starts like here and then it keeps going more and more and more because you can get away with more stuff. So won't crime rise because they can get away with more stuff?
Exactly. Like, it's insane. And no, we have no right to protect our property over here.
So wait a minute. Can you mace somebody that doesn't have a gun when they're like,
don't forget, we're not allowed to mace.
You can't even mace them.
Canada has a lot of crazy stuff you can't do.
How about bug spray? Can you spray bug spray at them?
So, yeah, I'm assuming. Like, I carry coyote deterrent. That's what we're allowed to have here. We're not allowed to have mace. So like in that video that I did on like how to stay safe at night, I mentioned coyote deterrent you're allowed.
Well,
what about bear
That's
spray?
Spray does the trick too. So if you can get,
I mean,
bug
they have a lot of
spray.
bears. I carry bear mace all the time into the mountains in the backcountry.
Oh yeah, you have to.
So can you carry? You got bears all over Canada. Can you carry bear mace? That's stronger anyway. Say I thought he was a bear.
I don't know. That'd be a good question.
I mean, it's just interesting because I feel like that kind of question, like here in the U.S., you actually might get in trouble and you might have to pay a lawyer. You might have to go through a bunch. I feel like up there, they'd just be like, you know, that's a good point. You probably, yeah, that's fine. You didn't break law. You know?
Yeah, it's crazy. There's a lot of things that just doesn't make sense over here. But the whole like gig work legislation thing, no. As I mentioned, it's just recently. It's this year. I think it was like January 31st or whatever that we had to start giving our social insurance number or our business number. So yeah, we're far from
let's see.
So
if
you
we
might
can
or
get
might
through...
not have to file your taxes.
Yeah, people are freaking out. A lot of people are asking in the group, so who's been deactivated for not providing it? Because some people thought that it wasn't real.
Well, it's all new too.
It's new. They give a 90-day grace period.
Yeah, I mean, so they're still collecting it because even Dana's talked to or Cheyenne's talked to other people who they're like, what do I have to do this?
Yeah, exactly. I'm getting like emails. They're like, do I really have to do this? I'm like, yeah. Like, shouldn't you been doing this already? Like,
yeah, that was my question when it happened. I was like, wait, you guys aren't even making. You guys don't have to pay any taxes on this, and you're like, no, we do. And I'm like, doesn't sound like it.
We do. We're supposed to.
Sounds like up till now, you could just be like, meh, I didn't make anything.
It's so crazy. Well, that's why they put it in place, because they realized that, hey, if people are leaving their jobs, but all these gig things are like increasing, but we're not making more money, where's the money? Because nobody's paying it.
Right. So you're like, I didn't make any money, so I ain't paying it. Plus, give me my free health insurance.
Yeah.
So according to laws, well, this is New Jersey law, but I'm pretty sure it's somewhat relevant to other states. You can get up to 5 years in prison for tax evasion.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
You know how many Canadians would be in jail?
I mean, we're dealing with you. You got to remember, we're still dealing with all these people who are in jail in a lot of states for marijuana charges where now marijuana is legal there, which is crazy to me. Like, dude, there's people who are like caught with low amounts in hardcore law states where it's like no tolerance, and they're doing like 30 years. They're halfway through this thing, and it's now legal for everybody, and they're still in there.
And they're still in there.
I mean, it's like, crazy. Hey, man, like this doesn't make sense to anybody. Like, you gotta have some people it makes sense to keep doing that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, let's see if we can get through a few of these other ones, because I did a piece on this, but I'm curious what everybody's thinking about Minnesota. I think I have the things still here. I'll just bring them up, just the two examples again. Oh wait, it's a different. I know I have it. Studio. It's gonna change our background.
Just said paying taxes is an option.
Oh, here it is.
Oh, my alarm.
Yes, it is. In Canada, it is. Who said
it's that? Not an option.
It is.
Tomorrow, someone's gonna get a knock from the Royal Mounted Police. They're gonna be like, hello, we need to talk to you. You know, you said some stuff yesterday that, you know, we need to have a conversation.
But then she can just invite him on next week's live stream. We'll say, let's clear this up, because I'm really confused what you guys are doing up there.
Oh,
because the first time she said it, I think all of us felt like we were in the round table. I think we all
you guys were so confused.
Kim wait a minute, you've never had to pay him till now. We all instantly jumped to the obvious. So you've never had to pay taxes till now. Now you're pissed about it. But I want to know about this Minnesota thing, because here's the rate card. Now remember, Minnesota's If Gigan's still in here, he can attest to this. It's downtown to the airport. Maybe some people live in cities like this too, but like for me, no. My downtown to the airport's a long ride. So I'm going to show you guys what it is now and what they're asking to have. And you don't need to look at all the items. You can. I'm not trying to not be transparent, but what you need to look at is the per mile and per minute rates on each of these. You'll see that the overall fare has gone up 25% on the two. I want you to see the amount of increase that they're looking to put into the Minnesota drivers. Now, again, they have to do this by May 1st, or they have to agree on things. And we'll get into that in just 1 second. But so here's what it is right now. So obviously all the booking fee, the estimated surcharges, which can change, base fare, blah, blah, blah. But the per minute and per mile together, 86 cents per mile, 20 cents per minute, that's $1.06 per mile and minute if you're doing 60 miles an hour on the highway, right? Okay. So if you're doing 60 miles from a pickup to the airport, you're going to be paid approximately $66 and then a tip if they want to on top of that. Now let's do the same 60 minutes, 60 miles on the new rate. Wow. Now again, it's 25% higher fare, but the new rate is 51 cents a minute, $1.40 a mile. That's $1.91 per mile. So $1.91 times 60. You're getting up over $110 an hour at that point. So I guess my question becomes, did they way overplay their hand? Because I think they did. I mean, for a fact, I know that people have been saying to me, they'll never leave a state. We've been waiting for them to actually do something like this. If my thing is, I think they'll come to an agreement. I think the agreement won't be much over what it is now. The 20 cents a minute, 86 cents a mile. I think maybe it goes up a little. 20 cents on the mile, 5 cents on the minute. But they're not getting this. This is why you see the articles that say Uber and Lyft are leaving Minnesota.
Steve, I think it's going to probably be somewhere under $10, and it's probably going to be less than 30 cents. Because if you look at the rate, if you compare the rate cards to other cities within Minnesota, they're not as high, but they're not as low. And they're very comparable. So when you compare them to others, because I seen it yesterday, and I sat there and I was like, well, here's the interesting part about that. Because when I started looking at the rate cards for us, for Miami, Austin, and Chicago, the other day, I sat there, I was like, what's really interesting about this is that if Minneapolis actually passes this, that means every city in the United States, their rates will literally go either 2x or 3x or even in some cases 10x, just for the fact that because now drivers have to get paid X amount per ride.
Yeah. Oh, of course the rate increases. We already know this. The rate increases by a lot. And their new fun thing is to put the cost that the city passes right into the line items for the customer to see. Hey, this is how you got screwed with state legislation. They actually are passing it right along now. And we actually looked at some of the California ones where they're making money on Prop 22.
Well, it's because it's almost like
they found a way to go, you know what, let's just charge them $3 instead of $2. And now they're making a buck too.
Yeah, it's almost like it's going into a slush fund.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't know what to say about it, because I've always said I don't believe in this type of thing. Like what we're going for, transparency to the customers, and go after the things that we can first, because this is just them until there is definition. These are how they're going to skirt tail all of the legislations. I mean, we're seeing more and more and more. I've got 4 up here today. This is one that we just don't know how it'll look. I do know we have heard that Uber Eats will stay. They have said Uber Eats is in place. We are staying in Minneapolis, but they said we are ready. They've basically prepared. We're leaving on May 1st.
They ain't leaving.
Well, I don't think so either, but they're going to have to find a deal because I can tell you this. Here's why. For those of you going, hey, here's the current rate. Here's what they want. If you think that this is what you're going to get, you're crazy because if they give that rate, every state the next day will say, we want that too.
Exactly. That's why I said.
So it's almost like a draw because it's going to be like, man, it's going to have to be much closer to this, the rates they are right now. And Minnesota is one of the one place where I can say these drivers have been at it for a while. I don't know that they're going to accept the bad offer that they're going to get. So I don't know how this will end. I mean, and even if they do leave, just let's be honest. They did leave one city once. We've seen it. They were begged back within 4 weeks. Austin.
Well, but then look what but then Austin got cocky and said, well, we can make our own.
Right. And they had 3 startups that all failed once the Giants left.
Yeah.
My point is you need the Giants around even to start up anew.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing that, I say to myself, the question becomes of, on a nationwide basis, that rate card, on a city per market basis is going to be bananas because then everybody's going to go up in arms going, those guys did it. How come we can't do it? So you're right. I think it is going to come to a draw because in my mind, that's a big market. Yeah. Even though for them to say, oh, it's a tiny market, listen, it's one of the biggest markets in that state. You leave that state, you're not going to walk away with any money. End of story. Mm-hmm. No, it's probably, I'm not surprised like 3 of their markets covers just that one market.
Yeah. I mean, they were saying the state. Now they're not saying the state. I don't even think they're saying the Twin Cities anymore. I think they're just saying Minneapolis now because this became a Minneapolis council thing. And then the mayor, like they last time they passed it through. And if you remember the governor a year ago in May, had to veto it. And that was the first veto of his 30-year political career. He has some inroads with DoorDash. It was a little sketchy, but he doesn't veto if what the city council approves. This is the first time he had to do it. This time the city council passed it and said, we're passing it. The mayor vetoed it, and the city council said, no, we don't accept. Again, it's proving what I was saying to Dana. Politics is just like saying, no, I'm going to do that anyway. I know it's not my job. I know this is not my place, but this is what we're doing. Because they sent it over to the mayor. He vetoed it, and they said, tough. Actually, we don't care what you think. But it says that he has to approve it. He said no. And they're like, well, we're passing it anyway. I mean, I don't know. This is just, and I know Minneapolis can be a controversial spot. We had a lot go on there in the last 4 years. But I mean, but there's a lot of people there who are just ready to do what they want. And that, I don't know. We'll see how it ends up. I can guarantee, though, if anybody in Minneapolis is still thinking along the lines of you're getting $1.91 a minute and mile, you're crazy. You're crazy. That ain't going to happen. Because, again, a 60-mile ride to the airport on a non-surge would be $110. I'm not doing the exact.
20.
Let's call it $115 or something to the driver plus tip. We know for a fact that Uber is not going to take 25% on top of that amount, add it to the top, and operate. Because I can tell you this, like, I know that we don't want to accept this, but I actually know that Uber operational rates have gone way up. And I'm not defending the company, but like insurance and some of the things they're having to deal with are way up. So they're around 20%. So you think they're going to make 5%? This is why they take 60% of all the fares. I'm not saying it's fair at all, but I'm saying they're a simple dispatch company that even with the what they have to run the place, just the insurance parts of it and stuff, and this is why they keep getting rid of people. But unless they are getting 50% of that fare, they're not going to do it. So now you got to charge somebody $230 to go to the airport.
Mind blowing.
And I guess my point is, they're just, who's going to pay that?
Nobody.
And I've been on with the taxi stand hour before too, guys. Like, those guys are pretty cool. They're on every Sunday. I'll plug them here. They're on pretty early. They got a YouTube channel and they're on Facebook as well. One of them is a cab driver in New York City, and one of them is a cab driver in Minneapolis. They're both retired. They both did it for 35 years. They tried Uber and Lyft. They hate it. So I've been on there a couple. They even had me as a guest once. But there's only 39 registered cab drivers in Minneapolis right now. Can you imagine, like if Uber and Lyft does leave, like, geez, yeah, it's $1,000, man. Where you want to go down the block? $1,000. Like, you can see that get out of control, dude. You think you hate cabs now? Just wait.
Like, all the cab drivers from Canada coming down.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Where'd you make your money? Oh, it wasn't the United States.
So
it wasn't the United States.
And then we have Seattle City Council committee. When was this? This is today. This is in Capitol Hill, Seattle. You can find it. I'll put all the links to all of these, and even if we don't get to the last one here after, even we'll touch on it though. I'll put all the links to all this stuff so you guys can be looking this up, because we got other states for next week too. But the Seattle City Council will begin debate Thursday, today, on Seattle's minimum wage for app-based delivery workers, just months after it's implemented. The council's Economic Development Committee, chaired by Council President Sarah Nelson, will hear reports on the impact of the minimum wage requirement approved by City Council, but put into effect this year. According to the analysis completed for Nelson, network companies like Uber raised delivery fees and service fees, and some added a Seattle specific fee. That's the one where they're passing along it, and in some cases they're being questioned if they're making money on it already there too. And fewer customer orders and longer wait times for workers to receive. So we have that. I mean, this is now the same group that demanded this happen. Like 80% of them are now on the side of just removing it altogether. And I guess this is the problem, guys, is, don't push for too much. Everybody got all excited. Like, look at what Seattle's going to make. We need that everywhere. It didn't work. It didn't work in 1 month. In 1 month, they're done. Okay, this isn't working. We've lost, the company's lost all their customers. They're not even fighting over them anymore. There are no people don't want to pay that much. And they don't want to see these line items from city council. And, these, again, you got to remember, if you live up there, think about this. A lot of us probably don't order the food through the platforms often, but look, if you see a line item, and you're now seeing all the line items, and you see a line item that's like $4 because it says city council regulation, all you're thinking is how high a taxes you pay to live in Seattle. So you're like, why the hell am I paying this too? And you're not even blaming the company. You see that, and you see it as the city. When really, like, the hope of the city was that they wouldn't have done that, and they would have just been like, yeah, this is us raising the prices. But it brings your eyes to it to make it look like, hey man, this is what they want. I mean, they just, but now all the people who were so sure after it was going well for the rideshare, again, they're only talking about getting rid of the food. And that's what I think. I was shocked at the beginning of this year when they added the food. I was like, really? Because your whole model was built around, this is only for rideshare. And it's because, why shouldn't they be under the Taxi and Limousine Commission? I actually was on the side of that. I thought, same thing. Like, yeah, why not? I mean, they are cars for rent. So like, yes, you should. That's something that makes sense. You could be working with the TLC. Okay. I'm not going to get too hot about that. But when they added the gig work one in, I'm like, this is just going to not work. Nobody's going to get orders. You're just making them see these like high dollar amounts and go, I want to make that. Well, you can't make that because nobody's going to be paying that. So it just doesn't work. And that's the problem. So Seattle, I mean, I guess they're pushing for this as very quickly too. They want this removed before May. So that failed. I mean, we don't know that for sure yet.
A lot of this seems like unintended consequences, like not thinking through.
But that's exactly it, Dana. You just said it. Not thinking it through. Like, what are these people doing? Like, I don't understand how you go into a meeting, and I know they're smart people. They're not stupid. But how do you go into this meeting and come out with the thought of, you know what, let's make it so that active time, they make $30 an hour. Okay, there's some doctors that, I know that's low, but there's some doctors who make $30 an hour. Like, again, it's not even near minimum wage. What are you doing? You're like making up this false minimum wage that limo drivers don't make. Mm-hmm. But you're demanding an Uber X car gets paid that? Come on. Like, it just makes no sense at all. So, Christopher Taylor, I see you're gifting out some memberships. I appreciate you, man. I see you did over here. You did one for Kim. Thank you very much. Always appreciate that. And what he's putting, and he also, Christopher drops a link a few times. I see it right here. I'll put it up even though you guys can't click it, because this is the link to drop. Please drop if you're a gig worker. Like I said, Dana and Kim already did it. But you can be Tony the Driven Dad. Ellen's in here. Pretty much a lot of people. We have almost 30. But record 15 to 30 seconds, or 30 to 60 was what I was telling people. But even 15. Your first name, state or city, whatever you're more comfortable with saying. You know, like, I'm Steve. I live in Colorado. I want to remain an independent contractor because I need flexibility with my time. I'm a full-time parent. It can be that easy. Or I'm Steve. I live in Denver, Colorado, and here's why I prefer to be an independent contractor. Just keep it positive and talk for a little bit if you have some other things to say. But you can, if you're thinking I don't have much to say, just say something. And what I will say is, you can also send an audio recording if you don't want to do a video. The videos have been extremely powerful, and that's why I said please go watch the video that Mike and I did, because I think that there's a lot of benefit to that. And I think that in there you see that, like Mike says in real time, that some of these come through. Like, there was a really good one done from a friend of ours and a friend of Rideshare guys, Nathaniel. Kim and I had the pleasure of meeting Nathaniel out here in Colorado this summer. Great guy. He actually helped a politician. That video he made helped a politician because Mike was able to get it to that senator in real time when that senator called him that day and said, hey, I'm a little confused on a bill. What do you know about it? He sent him a minute video from Nathaniel, and he pushed him to the direction he needed to go. So Nathaniel, if you're watching, and I already reached out to him in an email, if you're watching, you made a change with a senator. So, I mean, think if we had more videos. So just keep them coming, guys. You don't have to be a content channel. You don't have to, you could be anybody watching this or listening to the podcast or whatever. Just make a video. The link's always in the notes, and just upload it. You don't even have to create a Dropbox account or anything. I've just set it up as public, so it just will upload it. And then Mike immediately gets it into the hands of the people who need to have it. And that's what we explain in the videos. So, yeah, that's about all I wanted to plug with that, because I think it's super important. But so let's at least hit on this other state, because we got more states for next week. I mean, I was surprised. They're really starting to come out now. So the Utah portable benefits thing that we had touched on but never really talked about is actually being retitled right now. So they are still only pushing for that. And again, this goes to like what I've been saying, that, you know, maybe a lot of you aren't stoked about this, but I'd rather have this than all the other crap that they're trying to push, like dollar amounts, dollar per mile, like, because that can change and inflation can hurt us and whatever. They'll find scams and they'll push it along to the customer. It'll kill the volume. But Utah had all these same things being shoved down their throats. Let's increase the amount they'll make. Let's do this. Let's do that. Well, Utah decided last May, they passed it, and now it's being revisited, but for the better, as far as I can see, which is they said no to all of it. Nope. What we want to do is establish portable benefits based on the time you work multi-apping. They even use the word multi-apping. They seem, you know, I live right next door to Utah, and it's a weird state. Hi, Utah. I mean, I go there a lot because I love to snowboard, but it's a strange state. I'm gonna be honest, but to find out that they're like really in front of a lot of us, because this is what makes sense. Make portable benefits because people aren't thinking that way. I mean, this is like looking into like potentially even having some claim to some unemployment, some money put away for medical. And basically, like, think of it like a 401k, like the apps have to match your time active on their platforms per month in a monetary amount towards either savings or medical or things like this. And I guess my thing is like, I know a lot of drivers who'd be like, I don't want that, but I don't want legislation, period. But why would this be bad? I can tell you guys right now, I'm looking at a lot of states. Some states haven't really made their move on anything yet, but I'm looking at a lot of states who are starting to. Most of them are just going about it so backwards in my book. This one seems logical because they're looking out for the future of people. They're not, they're not saying that, you got to do this, that, the other. They're saying that, listen, if you're going to be working, we're going to kind of look out for you, because some of these, I know that a lot of people have said, I am only in this for the short haul. This is a stepping stone to where I'm going. And we also know W-2s aren't as solid as they used to be. We know that, don't get me wrong. If you got a specific plan, go for it. But I mean, this is a comparable, decent work. So it's, and it's on your time, and flexibility has become such a big thing that people who said they were going to stepping stone out of there, I guess I should have asked a long time ago, what is your time frame? Because some of those people 5 years later are still doing this. Or a lot of those people. They're just doing it on more apps now. So I guess my thing is, why wouldn't you want some kind of future for you being taken care of by the companies? Again, and the companies actually, from the articles I've seen on the Utah portable benefits, they prefer this. So somehow financially it works out to their advantage too, but they actually are taking care of you on things that a traditional W-2 would have taken care of you on, that we've all kind of waved to the side like, hey, flexibility is more important. Well, would you rather have $1 more a mile or 20 cents more a mile and 5 cents more a minute? Or would you rather have some logical portable benefits plan being built on all the multi-apping you're doing?
Still muted.
Sorry, I forgot to unmute myself. I was on mute the whole entire time since my alarm went off. Wow, you guys didn't tell me that.
I didn't know.
Anyway, I would probably like the benefits more than anything else, just because I feel like I can make my money my way. I don't think I need anything extra.
I mean, and maybe it doesn't have to be health. Maybe it could be your choice. Like, do you want it in like a 401 hybrid 401k type setting? So honestly,
it's like, I do my own investing, so I don't know whether 401k would benefit for me. Like, for me, it would be more.
Well, so not 401k. I'm just saying whatever it be. Yeah. Wouldn't, to me anyway, I'm there too. Like, I think that it's way more to my advantage to have legislation mean something like, okay, this means that you are this is how, and there's actual math. You can do it and see it, and it makes sense. There's not just, hey, this is our rule, we don't understand it, but live by it. It's more like, hey, here's the math. If you're working, and they've got multi-apping in there. They've got multi-apping in the wording. So they're not like allowing what Prop 22 can, where you bud soda 3 deliveries during the same hour and you get paid 360% of minimum wage because you work 3 platforms in California.
But soda's a verb now.
Yeah. But yeah, you guys, there's so much more of this to come too. Yeah, I see Gary saying, so Gary, that's one way of looking at it. How I see portable benefits. Yes, just give us more money. Maybe that's an option. Dude, But again, what I guess I'm saying I don't like, Gary, is when they do the amounts, because those amounts are getting written into legislation. What happens in 2 years when that amount is like half of what you need to live? You think they're just going to double it up out of the niceness of their heart? No, they're going to take it to court. They're going to keep it. They're going to try and reduce it. And they're going to find ways to manipulate, like New York City. And for those who aren't familiar with New York City, when they passed that, DoorDash literally came out and made a public statement. You guys can go Google it for yourself. I believe DoorDash has it on their website that they will throttle you at 65% of an hour. Because some people were like, wait, it's 50 cents a minute per active time on delivery platforms. And I was like, do you keep seeing the 1863 number? And they're like, yeah. What is that 1863 an hour? I'm like, well, DoorDash anyway said 65% of an active hour is all they'll let you work. And that's 1863. So what they did was said, okay, they made us say 50 cents an hour. Well, we're gonna make it so you guys absolutely can't do that. And I my point there is, when you put a dollar amount on it, there's always a way to get around it. You're inviting these crooked companies who we all decide to I don't want to say partner with, because that was an old Uber term that really bothers me, because we're not partners, but that we decide to contract with on a case-by-case basis. But we all, let's be honest, most of us don't have a lot of good things to say about the way the companies operate. But we just choose to independent contract with them because we can make some money here and there. I mean, that's kind of common. A lot of times you hate your boss at a W-2. It's not shouldn't shock anybody. It's just, it's these companies are very greedy. They came in low, and they've so quickly, like those honeymoon periods for a new app is so short now.
Yeah.
They can saturate a market in a week.
Can I stop you just for half a second? I just want to say Ellen's son is watching, and hi, Ellen's son. I just want to say a quick hi.
Oh, wait, where did I see that? It's his birthday too.
It's the son that has happy birthday. I didn't realize it was
it's his 18th birthday.
Happy birthday.
So big shout out.
Happy 18th birthday, Owen. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, I didn't even see where that was said. Oh, it's
Ethan.
It's Ethan's. Okay, I thought it was Owen's today.
Well, hello, Ethan.
Yep. So, no, the other son.
Donna loves her boss.
Well, happy birthday, Ethan. And happy birthday, Sergio, tomorrow.
No, I think I got it.
Oh my God. Woo! I know more about Ellen's children than she does.
Well, happy birthday, Owen. Hi, Ethan.
Let's rephrase
Wow.
this. First of all, hi, Ethan and Owen, and happy birthday, Owen. I just wanted to say hi. That's the only thing I wanted to do.
Okay, look, at least we made it all good. So he's smiling. So
oh, too funny.
But you guys, I've had it rolling across the bottom. Make sure to check out FreeCab, FURE.CAB. Just take a look at it. And then check out Kim's Side Money Plans, who literally is live more than anybody I know now. She's like the Truman Show. She's like, I mean, a live ends of Kim's, and another one starts like 11 minutes later.
Kim's live. Kim's live again.
Serious. And I know what she's doing, because it makes a lot of sense. And the new, it won't make sense to some of you guys, maybe not in the space at all, but like if you're doing vertical lives, you now get put into the shorts feed as well. And I was, when it first started, I was like, whoa. But then I started thinking, okay, well, maybe some people do stick around. I've done a few too, The view counts are way higher. My watch time average is way lower because of the shorts people. I'm sure Kim's seeing the same thing. So if I did a live before for Curry, I'd have like 250 people in there in an hour, hour and a half. And the watch time average would be like 17 minutes. Now I'll have like 1,000, or 1,200, but the watch time will be like 2 minutes average. So it's like, but I do get some new subs. I have had some new blood asking questions. So there's give and take on it, but hey Tristan, I don't know if you've been here the whole time, but I was trying to shout out to you earlier. So, but what were you gonna say, Kim?
But no, the lives. No, I was gonna say, the whole reason why is I've been doing ride-alongs for how many years now, so now I just do them live instead of spending hours at night editing. It's kind of that's the other thing, the uptick of it. So I don't have to edit until 2:00, 1:00 every single morning because you're live with me as I'm doing it. So it's been a lot of fun. Connecting with people that I normally can't connect with at nighttime. So it's a whole different bunch of people that I'm connecting with, which I think is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, you're still doing. Am I wrong that you're still doing edited videos too?
Yeah, that too.
I mean, I'm saying like it's not as much, and maybe it's not as much stress, but you're still doing it. Yeah, and then on this side of me, we have to thank Dana for joining us tonight, because Dana is a school board nutcracker now. He is gonna bust some balls for all you people trying to pass that crap onto our children, dude. And I trust this. I trust this guy. I know him well enough to know that. Like, I mean, at least
he should tackle that whole. What was it that you were talking about with your son, where to graduate they have to get student aid?
You know what? Did we not readdress that this week? That's more common than I thought. There's an article in the New York Times. It's everywhere, actually. It's most states have it. Most states make you do it now.
That's crazy.
I don't know if Dana, if you caught that or not, but that like you have to do financial aid to graduate.
Yeah, I heard that.
It's part of the thing. Yeah.
Is that a thing where you are?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, because me, I feel like it's got to be breaking some laws. I don't know how or why, but I just do. Because there are people who dead set know they're not going. Why the hell should they have to go through that?
Yeah.
The only thing I come up with is just because it could tempt them with student loans.
Yeah.
Which is going to screw them.
One might say that could be a conspiracy.
Exactly. No, but it's true.
But because I can't think of any other reason why that would be logical. There's no other logical unless you're trying to entice them into getting into the absolutely worst type of debt you can possibly get into.
Right. That you can't bankruptcy no matter what, you're stuck with it. I mean, and at their age. That's the worst part, dude. Like, my son's taking a gap year, but he already kind of is now. He's starting to get some direction on what he wants to do. He wants to do like sports medicine kind of thing, like physical therapy type stuff, things maybe of that nature. And who knows what it could become, but he's still taking that gap year. So the whole thing becomes, he's got an idea. We can figure out the path. We don't need the school to force him to apply for financial aid and say, hey, look, if I do this, I get this much money. Yeah, but do you understand what the hell that means? Like, there's doctors who don't pay back their student loans for 30 years.
And they're doctors.
I mean, come on, guys. Like, school is, even when I went and Kim went to college, it was expensive, but not like this.
No, I can't even imagine these days.
Yeah. The people that are going into debt for it now are going to be settled with it basically for the rest of their working lives.
Yeah.
I just saw a tweet yesterday. About this where someone said they were 10 years into paying their student loans off. They had taken out like $80,000 in debt when they went to school. Got out 10 years ago. They've been paying like $500 a year. They've been paying $500 a month or whatever, and they had only taken off $10,000 of their debt after 10 years.
That's crazy. I paid mine off
because of all the interest.
4 years.
It's like all the interest.
Wow.
Yeah, the guy was paying. Yeah, the $500. He was paying more towards interest than he was actually paying towards principal.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous.
So Tony's saying this because him and Lisa homeschool their kids, and both very smart people, but he has 6 kids. Can you imagine sending 6 kids to college?
No.
Tony, you be doing a lot of rideshare, bro.
What does that mean when Kim says you can discharge the student loans?
Wait, what's that? You can do.
Not in the U.S. You can't. It's the only type of.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
The only type of loan that's you're not allowed to bankrupt with student loans.
Yeah,
they get that money no matter what.
Bankrupt. Yeah, I know in the States.
Even if you claim bankruptcy, they'll just take your tax refunds from now till eternity. Yeah, it's the one type of loan that doesn't get removed.
I remember Dave Ramsey says that all the time.
And that's why I'm saying, like, they shouldn't be making kids hear about this for the kids who are like, I'm going to go to vocational school for a year and learn how to be a welder. You don't make them do that, because the school itself will provide a much better program for in-house financing. So don't make them go through a student loan and see that they can get more and think, oh, I can have something to live on and go to school. Don't do that crap. Let people figure out their plans, dude.
This is Tony, really?
Tony. That's the solution.
If you die, you can lose the student loan. Well, but then you don't have to pay it back.
Technically, no. That your state. No, what happens is that if you have a student loan and your state actually incorporates that student loan, now your state actually pays for the student loan. So when you die and you got money in the bank, no, well then the state would force one. Yeah, it's crazy. The state laws are crazy.
Yeah.
So what happens is that then the student loan, if whatever money you have in a bank account, will go towards the student loan first.
I'm going to bury all mine for my son in holes around the country and give him a fucking map. Tell him to go have a fun road trip and find all the money and be like, I don't have a cent, man.
Junior, this is X. Remember it.
I'll call every family member. Transfer your debt to me, man. I got this.
Man. It's so crazy. But Dana, is that something that like you guys would tackle if ever? Because if Steve says that now it's in the newspapers, it's going everywhere, I'm assuming it's gonna come to you guys at some point in time.
Probably.
I'm surprised it's anywhere, and now it's everywhere. So
wow.
Good.
That would be crazy.
I mean, the New York Times did a full article on it, on how many states, and I don't remember how many they listed, but then there were other ones too. And people were sending me articles going, hey, that wasn't that when they heard that episode. They were like, that's not that uncommon. Our state does it. Our state, and I was getting different emails. And so, like Chicago, I got one from a listener all the time of the audio podcast who sent me this whole long thing with links even. And he's like, look, here's everything. Here's how they're going to do it. Here's how many states are doing it. Here's how it works. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Wow.
I don't know. It seems like taking advantage of somebody who just got there. Like when my son graduates, he'll be 17. He won't be 18 because he graduates this May. He won't be 18 till September. So in my book, he's not even old enough to make an adult decision.
Yeah.
But what happens if I'm like super rich though, and I've already have in the bank like money for my kid to go to college, and I'm going to pay out in cash? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's the opposite way. Like, you don't want your kid to apply for student loans just because I have the money. Isn't that the whole entire point of having a college fund?
That's why, and we'll wrap it up with this, that you make $10 million a year in cash only. He doesn't need the loan because, and we're going to wrap it up here, you guys. You know why? Because...
Don't be a dick.
No, but close. It is close to that one. Instead, it's pimping ain't easy. Good night, you guys.
Ah, yes.
Driving my life away.